Wait, there's no bumper? I thought there was a bumper.
Where did the bumper go? Am I in the wrong brand? Oh, man. No, it's right. But I guess my background was wrong. Hi, everybody. As I was just telling Dave before we went live, I just came in from doing some yard work because it is like the last nice day, supposedly, in Boston for a long time. So I'm clean. I took a quick shower, but my hair is gross because I didn't want to wash it because I don't want to have been wet. So great start to our November, December, October. What month is it? October community stand-up. Happy spooky season. I'm already thinking about .NET Conf. Like, that's the only thing on my mind. So I'm like, November. It's clearly November, right?
Yes. Well, don't forget DevReach. We got DevReach coming up.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And then after DevReach, we have .NET Conf and Ignite. And after that, I think I'll be at Dev Intersection in Florida.
Oh, really?
And that might be it for the season.
Is that not happening at like the same time?
It's the first, I think it's the first week of December.
Oh, that's right. It's in early December. That's right.
Yep. All these things, all these dev things, you know. Oh, hi, Jeff. Go Red Sox. Hell yeah. They suck. They're done for the season, but I appreciate the enthusiasm. So if this is your first time here, Fritz is trash talking. All right. Well, okay. Before we get into business, Jeff is an Eagles fan, okay? And the Eagles are the fakest, like, no-win team I've seen in the recent memory of football. I mean, no-loss team. They're squeaking out. They're squeaking out, Jeff. You know this. We'll talk about this in the fantasy chat. But, like, they're just lucky their offensive line is great. Their defense is great. Jalen Hurts is fine. The receivers are fine. But, like, they're getting lucky. They're getting lucky. So they're not going to even stand up to the 49ers when they show up because the 49ers are insane. So if this is your first time here, yes, I usually have at least one sport thing I talk about. Sorry, Tim. Ball sports are the best part of being in Boston, honestly. But what we usually do is we do some blogs, we do some PRs and community contributions. Dave and I will show these things. We're going to switch up the order. We're going to let Dave go first with PRs and community contributions so I could... there weren't a ton of blogs this month because I think everyone's just coming back in, getting back to school. So I'm going to let Dave take up like as much time as he wants. And then if we have time left, I'll throw in some blogs. And if not, no biggie. And then what we thought we would do, which is fun today because I screwed up and did not get a guest. My fault. Sorry. If there's anyone from Dev Express here, sorry, I didn't respond to your email. It is my fault. Emails are hard. We are going to show our top 5 things you might not know about .NET MAUI or you might not be using already that we think are useful. And Dave will do SDK stuff and I will do some tooling stuff and it will be fun. And we'll see where that takes us. Definitely chime in with things that you found out about with MAUI that you're like, whoa, everyone needs to know about this. We had no idea this worked like this or whatever. So yes, MAUI is awesome. Thank you. So here's the links to at least the PRs and stuff. I just popped them in the chat. We are streaming to YouTube. We are streaming to Twitch. So I will try and pop up questions as we answer them. But if you see me talk about something that's not in the chat that you're currently in, it's probably because it's on the other one, i.e. YouTube or Twitch. So, Dave, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Also, congratulations to Dave. Now has 2 married children.
I do.
Very exciting.
Yeah, had a wedding, out of town wedding this past weekend. So, and you probably hear that my voice is a little hoarse yet, and I may end up coughing off mic, hopefully. Wasn't COVID, some kind of virus gave me laryngitis. Yeah, so if you're talking, we can't hear you, Maddie. What are you doing? Oh, I'm watching the YouTube thing where you actually are talking. That wasn't the live feed of Maddie.
Whoops.
And it's actually really delayed today. I feel like it's not usually this delayed.
Yeah, it's usually only a couple seconds, but
yes. So been a very busy few weeks for me. So if you have not been getting replies from me very quickly, that's probably why. And then I'm going to be out again next week for a few days for some stuff, and then travel. DevReach and then .NET Conf Ignite. So it's going to be a busy end of the year here. And the .NET 8 release we're very excited about. I wanted to give y'all sneak peek, first look at the RC2, which is slated for next week. No secret, we ship second Tuesday of every month. And so this is another good release. Really, the focus from RC1 on out has been anything that's a regression or potential regression between releases. We want to make sure that we shore those things up. And then, of course, if we have time to pile on other bug fixes, we will. Right now, the plan is, because we're back to NuGet packages, which is maybe one of the, I don't think I included it in my top 5 things you don't know about. But it gives us the ability to now preview releases once more, the way that we were doing with Xamarin Forms. We have nightly releases and things like that. And so you can benefit from that. And so when we ship .NET 8, we'll also be previewing the next service release as well. So we want to make sure we get as many bug fixes into everybody's hands as quickly as possible. So love the work in this release. The team has been heads down doing all of their validation and QA and manual validations and things like that. So also, if you're not seeing a lot of activity from our team in the socials, that's probably why. They're all super focused. All right.
It's been busy. It's been really busy.
It has, and it's been a lot of fun going through and validating. I've been going through the samples, the public samples that we have on our official samples repo, and checking those out, updating them, fixing some colors that I didn't like, adding some margins, nitpicky things. But everything works great. I mean, I haven't really needed to do anything super special getting things upgraded, so that's cool. Couple of PSAs, public service announcements for y'all. If you have not yet started using Xcode 15, iOS 17, or have not run your apps on iOS 17, these are some things for you to be aware of. So there's been a change with code signing and debug builds with the simulator. This does not apply to devices, but this kind of manifests, at least in most of my scenarios, as the splash screen doesn't display. You just get a black splash when you're debugging on the simulator, which I find to be super annoying. And it has to do with this. If you want to work around it before the next release, you can just grab this and put it into your CS proj, and that will handle it for you. If your project is Mac and iOS, you want to add the conditionals to the property group. I think with .NET, we're all getting much better at hand editing our CS proj. I know that I've learned a lot in the course of doing that. So that's one public service announcement, if you're seeing the black screen. The other one is the newsstand kit issue. So Apple removed this, I guess, from the SDK. And so you may have a situation where your Xamarin app or your .NET app will crash at startup. Or you will get a runtime crash error related to newsstand kit. So we do have fixes out for this for Maui, as well as coming for iOS and Forms. There are packages you can download directly here if you are in a hurry and don't want to wait for the next release to get everything through Visual Studio. But this describes all the issue, why it's happening, what you can do to link it properly and get your app back up and running. And it's a popular issue because look at all those comments. Look at that. Yep, it's a big deal. So probably if you were going to hit it, you've already hit this issue, and this is not that helpful. This is a page not found. I mentioned this nightly builds. Wanted to make sure everybody knew that you can get .NET 8 nightly builds. We have seen a wonderful uptick once we shipped RC1 of usage of .NET 8. No surprise, .NET 7 continues to be dominant. It is the current stable release. our C1 and beyond are officially supported releases for you to use in production. And we've gotten great feedback from a lot of developers saying, hey, you know, I was dealing with all these issues in Net 7. Net 8 is way better, and I was able to remove a bunch of workarounds. It's awesome. So it's not an arrival announcement. It's not mission accomplished, but it certainly is good news that Net 8 has been meeting people's needs. So if you want to get even closer to the tip of Maine, you can grab nightly builds, and you can just add this feed to your project, add the package references. Maui version gets grabbed from whatever workload you have installed, what version of workload you have installed, or you can explicitly declare a Maui version in your CS proj. So if you grab a nightly build, it's got a specific version. You just declare that in your CS proj, and you will then be using that version. We are going to be working on improving that whole experience, so you're not having to manually update the CS proj all the time. But for now, that is the way to go. And because I have the microphone, I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. I get to toot my own horn. I built a plugin, my first NuGet package I've ever shipped, Maddie.
Wow.
No, I feel so accomplished. I followed Gerald's guide on the plugin template situation here. And so he's got this template. You just clone it to your own repo. You follow his very simple to follow. I mean, if I did it, anybody can do it kind of a situation. What this plugin does is gives you the ability to get individual key down, key up keyboard presses. It's primarily for desktop. You can use it on the iPad. There is a bit of an issue with shell on the iPhone, but if you're doing non-shell, then it does work. And I have not yet implemented Android. I'm working on that, you know, in all of my abundant free time. And so I built a game that goes along with it. Did I link to the game? Yeah, guess word. So it's basically Hangman. Very exciting. But I've had lots of use cases where I don't have like Control C, Control V, you know, keyboard accelerators, which is now a supported thing, by the way. But I just want to know, just whenever you press a key, just tell me. So I can do something with it. And I'm not going to be in an entry field or an editor field. And so I want to do that. So that's what this plugin does. And there's a little game here you can goof around with if you want. Oh, and most of this game was assisted by, what do you call it? Copilot. So I used VS Code and Copilot and built this thing, and it's pretty slick. I had to teach Copilot a few things, but it worked out great. All right. Documentation. I'm not watching the chat at all. Is anybody chatting at me? Does anybody have any comments? Does Maui version? Oh, the heart's in the way. Work with the central package management. So I don't think so. Dot Morton. The central package management is something that we're working on. Oh, that's awesome. My cool. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Oh, I know. James Montemagno also said, and yeah, so things to work on. Doc suggests that it works. Maybe it worked when the doc was written. Speaking of docs, we have published some updated docs, in particular, help with migrating from Xamarin Forms, or upgrade, as we like to say. So if you are using the properties dictionary and you need to then move to .NET MAUI preferences, this is the doc for you. I have gotten that request several times, and so I'm glad that we now have documentation for it, as well as how to use Essentials Secure Storage to now be Maui Secure Storage. And then if you want to collapse your multiple projects into a single project, you can you now have a guide specifically about that. And then a few updates as well. More docs coming, of course, with the .NET 8 release. So excited to see more updates here. One of the top feedback that we get through surveys is we need more docs, we need better docs, we need more samples, and that sort of thing. So if you are one that provides that feedback on a regular basis, my encouragement to you, please, my pleading to you, be specific. Tell me exactly the thing that you want us to show you, and we can do that. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, this is I was kind of just looking at YouTube to see what folks have been publishing, because I haven't really tracked YouTube lately. I know early in NET 6, 7, 8, I was kind of all over the YouTube stuff to see what people were doing. And I found this awesome developer by the name, why is this browser going so slow? Abe Prince. I think that sounds pretty good. I'm going to go with that. And so great video to go along with this, by the way, which is actually playing in the background. What do you know? I think he does an excellent job of explaining everything as he's live coding and going through stuff. So check him out, and he's got really good stuff. This in particular one demonstrates how you can do a custom renderer or handler essentially for shell. And so if we go into Maui program, you see that he has done this right here. He's got a tab bar badge renderer. The whole goal of this particular exercise is to add badges to the tabs in a shell application. And so I'm imagining that file exists somewhere in here. Anyway, go check it out. I watched some of the video. I skipped through it, and looked really good, solid. He seems to really know what he's doing. So I wanted to recommend him to you. And here's another. He's got quite a few actual sample apps. So this fruit veggie basket Maui app, there's no screenshot here to kind of show it off, but shows how to, set up your web APIs, consume those web APIs. And the UIs, look very real world, I would say, very good reference apps. So go follow, go star all of his stuff. He's got a Netflix clone. It's got the fruit basket thing. It's got some Blazor stuff. It's got a pet adoption app. Look at this, Signal R, EF Core. Like, check this stuff out. This is really good stuff. I don't know where he finds all his time, but this is awesome. Really good stuff. I love finding people who are super active and get to highlight them. So this is a NuGet package library that I have seen before and really didn't dig into to kind of understand. It's the Dips mobile UI. So this is a company in Norway. All right, let's check that out real quick. I want to make sure I'm right. Okay, yes, up there. Norwegian. And what this library is, of course, it's a bunch of UI controls. And let's see here. You can't really see them all here, but they've got in the wiki, bottom sheets, animations, alerts, buttons, checkboxes, chips, colors, tons of stuff that you use on a regular basis. If you scan that QR code on the main screen here, I'll just leave that up. Everybody can go scan it with their iOS or Android device. You'll get an App Center link. You can install it from there. Trust the certificates. Really good looking stuff. And it implements design tokens. So there's a design token system. There's an open source project around design tokens. They reference the Amazon design token implementation. And so if your organization uses design tokens or wants to, essentially that's a way for you to then just theme all of your applications to look the same. So you can kind of think of it as style sheets on steroids, maybe, or something like that. But really good looking stuff. And this is MIT licensed. Looks to be all free. I didn't see anywhere where there were any negatives to using it. So awesome. Check that out. And thank you to the developers for putting that together. There's actually several other libraries in their org repo here. So probably some other good gems hiding in there. I, for one, find styling with HTML to be super easy and productive. Not everybody probably agrees with me, But when you need to do it, how do you do it in a native app? So one way to do it, of course, is to use the label, and you can set the content type to HTML, and you can put some stuff in there. But it's a very small subset of HTML that it respects. So then your next option is to go for the full web view control, which I have done in applications with great success. You can use it for a whole page. You can use it just for a block of stuff and put it like right in the middle of your page. And you can do multiple of them. I've had success doing that. But what if you want to be more optimized? But you still need, really good HTML support for all the things, and maybe even some CSS. That's where a control like this comes in. So this is light HTML. It's a control that allows you to do just that. Put this anywhere on your screen like you would have a label, and then feed it in the HTML. You can do the HTML inline. You can, of course, bind to it. In my case, usually I was loading something from the internet, and I needed to just render that block of text with the formatting. I know that in the past, we've also shown using a markdown control that will render in the app. However, this is HTML. So, and it's based on this light HTML parsing library. So if you want to see, okay, well, what all does it support? What kind of CSS? It supports CSS 2 and 3, which is great. I don't remember because it's been a long time what the difference is. But 3 obviously has things that 2 doesn't have. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, it looks really cool. Might be helpful for some people. Looking back at the chat, looks like everybody was still talking about the package management thing. All right, what else do we have here? This is the last of my community related things, and then all the rest of the stuff is my top 5. So I'll get after this. Cool. So I noticed that Avalonia has continued working on the Avalonia Maui hybrid project. So it's out in preview. There's a NuGet package you can grab. If you have not seen this before, because I think it's been a few months since we've talked about it, but you can embed Avalonia controls inside of Maui pages. You can embed Maui controls inside of Avalonia views. And then you can also call Essentials APIs from Avalonia. So it enables all of that. I think this is super awesome. I would love to see this thing, go all the way, because Avalonia has some controls that Maui probably will never have. At least not in the near future. So Avalonia has been around for a long time on the desktop in particular, and so has some really robust controls there. So you may find that sharing code between Avalonia projects and Maui projects, or just leveraging what Avalonia has inside Maui and vice versa is beneficial for your use case. So awesome work from the Avalonia team, and glad to see that is continuing on.
Yeah.
Whew. I don't know my voice is going to laugh, Maddie. I'm already starting to feel it fade.
No, that's good. That's good. Do you want to keep rolling right into your top 5, or do you want me to do my top 5 first? Because I'm happy to sit and watch. I'm enjoying.
Let's do your top 5 and then come back, because I feel like I need to drink a drink.
Do that. All right. First, I'll send the only I'll send 2 blogs. They're both first party blogs because I don't want to get too much into everything else this month. Let me send some. Actually, I'll put them in the URL list and then I'll resend the URL list. First and foremost, let me share my screen. Boop, boop, boop. I know you totally gave me a warning and you're like, this is my last big thing. And I was like, great. And then now I'm just doing this, but it's okay. If you missed it last month, first and foremost, I'm trying to find it. How many blogs have we come out with? What are we doing? Jeez. Where's Tobe's performance blog?
It's up there.
It should
you may not be able to load it. It might crash your browser.
It's like not on the blog. I don't know why. Is it maybe it's under .NET Core? Oh my goodness, it's missing. Did it get taken off the blog? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, every year you can expect a absolutely massive performance, like what's new in .NET with performance blog post by Stephen Tobe on our team. He is awesome. Why, like, it's probably called Performance Improvements in .NET 8. I see ARM64 performance improvements. Different, though. Like, it's not there, right, Dave? I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I'm scrolling. Oh, here it is. Demystifying. No.
That was before.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see Fuel asking in the chat. No, it is not required reading. Hold on. I need to send a Teams message. This is the most important thing that's ever happened, I think, on the stand-up, because I found the missing blog post. Anyways, once we figure out where that went, it's an amazing read. It takes some time to read. It is long. I think he said it was like 100 pages or something if he was to print it out. Just like absurd amount of reading. But it is really, really good. He deep dives into like every different possible area that we improve performance in .NET and how and why. And the way he writes is like very friendly and easy to listen to. And so he's really good at doing the like table of contents at the top. When I find this blog, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you can click on what you're interested in. Hold on. Does anyone know where her blog post went? At James. Most important things. And then the other two blogs that are interesting right now from first party stuff, not slides. Share screen. Screen 2. C# Dev Kit, the extension for VS Code, has gone GA. They're pretty happy with the amount of features in it. It really hasn't changed since the preview, but just FYI. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sharing your screen.
There you go.
I'm so good at this. This is why they've let me run this for like 2.5 years, right?
Yep.
Okay, so C# Dev Kit has gone GA, so that's awesome. Thank you for all the bugs. Maui's VS Code extension is not GA. The reason why is because I do not fundamentally believe that we should ship an extension GA if it doesn't have hot reload in it, XAML or C#. Like, I am taking a firm stance that I do not want to call it generally available until I have what I need to do my everyday Maui development in it, which is the hot reloads. So and better XAML IntelliSense. So those things are heavily underway. Don't worry about it. It will come out eventually. But we're not going to rush it just to say it's GA. We're really working on, having a good quality release. That being said, please continue to file issues on it. Both the Maui and the C# Dev Kit extension. The other thing I want to mention, we talked a little bit about .NET Conf coming up. The agenda is not up yet, but you can bet that Dave and I will be there causing problems remotely as we do. And there's also this thing called the .NET Conf Student Zone. Katie, who was on, if anyone remembers, James Montemagno from the Xamarin days, she's on his team now because he's a manager of people. And she always runs this like basic kind of get everyone started. It's pretty fun. They're really short little sessions. It's fully remote. We have a full mobile track. We are going to do a bunch of .NET MAUI stuff for an hour. Me and Becky, who's on our team, who's been on, I think, Community Stand-Up once or twice before. So if you have folks on your team that, are newer to .NET, or if, you have new hires starting, the summer's over. So you probably have some people who rolled over from their internship last year. Now is the time to get them learning. And one of the great ways to do that would be via the .NET Conf Student Zone. So feel free to check that out. Very good stuff. And the rest of .NET Conf, the agenda will eventually be posted on .NETconf.net, which is this website. Currently, it is just apparently the placeholder. Is this the teaser? This must be the teaser. So, yeah. I can tell you that there will be a keynote, and the keynote will be cool because I talked about it last night at like 8 p.m. And it's going to be cool. We're going to do some cool stuff. There will be Maui in it. Not a ton of Maui, because really everything we're shipping for Maui for .NET 8, as you've seen from what Dave and I have been talking about, is like really performance and reliability based, and those don't like demo really well. It's like, ah, yes, we fixed bugs. People don't want to hear that. They're like, yeah, fix the bugs. Thank you. So there will be plenty of Maui sessions, but we're sneaking it in the keynote in a few ways, and people are humoring me. So cool. My top 5. Now that I've rambled a little bit, I'm going to do tooling. I'm going to extend a little bit outside of just Maui tooling because there's a couple Visual Studio things that I keep finding out people don't know about that I love. Why is it not opening? Oh, it did. First and foremost, the most important thing, let me open Zoom it. Thank you. There is a small settings gear here. All right. If you click that, you can do the best thing in Visual Studio if you have a wide monitor, which I do on my left, not this one. You can place tabs on the left. Look at this. You can do vertical tabs in VS. I am like all in on this these days. Because Dave's like, really? I'm going to show like, you're probably going to show like these really cool APIs that like nobody knows about. I'm like, you can put tabs on the left. It's true. And then you can also color and group them by the project they're in. So I like to color them by the file extension. So if I have like mainpage.xaml and mainpage.xaml.cs both open, I can tell which one's the XAML and which one's the C# by the color it is. Very exciting. Okay. So thank you. Jeremy's in the chat. Jeremy gets it. This is exciting. There's also a lot of other like options you can put in. I don't really go through these very often. Look at this new options thing. This is the internal preview I'm showing you. So just FYI. Dirty indicator, what you want that to look like, how you want to sort them, most recent versus last recent, tab width. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We give you a lot of settings. Move the settings away. How do I close the new settings page? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's this. It's on because I'm using vertical tabs. That's why. It's a page. That's exciting. Okay. We also have this what's new thing. This is not like one of my top 5, but just for general Visual Studio things that are happening. All right. Number 2, got to run the app because that's how I am. So I'm going to let that go. I should probably have pre-built it. If you build it for Windows, as this is loading, you already have profiling tools in Maui, just FYI. So that's the thing that pops up when you do debugging right off the bat. Boop, 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 boop. And it's like the little graph and it's noisy. Why is this so big? What was I debugging? Ooh. Okay. Uh-oh. Did it just crash? Did I break it? This is great. I'm doing a great job today. Hello? Oh, I know what I was debugging. I was debugging David's food, your point of sale app.
Oh.
That's what I was debugging.
Yeah, because you had to record something with it, didn't you?
Yeah, and I was having a ton of issues with it for no reason. Truly not your fault. So if you see, when you F5 your app for Windows, your Maui app, you will get this diagnostic tools thing. Very cool. This is actually profiling your app. It is not fake. But most people don't want to profile their apps at when it's debugging, which makes sense. You'd want to do it on the release build. So what you can do is open. I don't think this is the one I want. Yes, the performance profiler. You want to switch to the release configuration when you can, but you just change the target. And then you can use all of these different tools for WinUI, for the Windows head of your Maui app. We're starting to light up more and more of these for Android and iOS. So just FYI, if you want to start profiling things, this is where we're going to do it. So you can go and just like check these things off and then just run the app and that'll profile it. Yeah, right now, President Not Sure One. This is only for the Windows apps, but we are going to continue lighting these things up for iOS and Android. A lot of these things actually already work on the command line. If you do the command line version, we just haven't actually wired Visual Studio up to like talk to Android yet. So just FYI, very cool. The next thing, which I don't know, this is sort of something that people know about because I demo it a lot and we talk about it a lot. But every time I think that people know about it, it turns out they don't. This is XAML Live Preview, which is let's fit with. Basically, oh man, got a bug on this one. A way to look at your app while it's running. So it's on my other monitor right now, right? Like my Windows app is actually covering Dave's face right now, but I can keep it in my monitor in VS. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to pop it back open. Oh, of course I did the thing where I didn't pin it first. And then I want to unpin that. And what's cool about live preview is this works with iOS, Android, everything, by the way. You can actually inspect all these elements just by hovering over it and then click on it, and it takes you to where it's defined in the code. So obviously this is a simple UI. It's just image and stuff. But this is like so helpful. I use this all the time, especially when I'm doing something like Dave's point of sale app and I have no idea where he defined something. And it just helps me navigate through things really quickly. It also shows you like the colors and what it is, which is nice. But like this is all the shell information up top here. Very cool. Good thing to have in your back pocket. I know a lot of people have used it, but I always have to add it to my like thing because every time, I don't know, one of the engineers on the Maui team, Rachel, has been doing some PM work for us, which is exciting. And a bunch of people were like, what is live preview? And we were like, how do you not know about this? Also, because this is Visual Studio, at any point, you can float these windows. So say that you want to use live preview, but you want to put it on a different screen, or VS is on a different screen. You can just make it its own separate window and put it wherever. So you can do that. And then you can just dock it back. No problems. I don't know where I docked it. Oh, I docked it down here. So just FYI. That's like 2.5. I'm going to call that 2.5 because I showed the docking and the floating windows, which people should know about. The next one, I wanted to be debugging, is the data binding diagnostics window, which if you, like me, absolutely hate MVVM and kind of suck at it because it is miserable to use. I'm just kidding. It's great. It's great. And you have data binding things that you like spell wrong or whatever it is, you can actually go and find those very easily. So there's this little button up top on the app and in live preview, but I'm just showing it to you in the app because it's easier. Oh my goodness. Right here, this thing. And it is binding failures. And if you click it, it takes you to a window where it looks for all your XAML bindings and finds things that have failed. So I don't think there's any data binding in this, which is nice. But let's say that there was. Or actually, let's do this. Text equals binding text. This should not work because there is no text. Oh, it's not even going to hot reload. That's nice.
Close your quotation mark.
That's even better. Thanks. That obviously doesn't show anything. If I click on binding failures, refresh, it'll pop up at some point. Maybe I'll just restart it. It shows you these things. It says, we cannot figure out what you're trying to bind to right now. This doesn't exist, which is nice. Morton, Dave said HTML is great for styling. I did not say that. I don't hate HTML. I don't love it. I'm not an HTML person. Anyways, they pop up here. I don't know why this one isn't working. Doing great demo here. Next, we're flipping over. We're flipping out of the IDE world because why not? Things people don't know about in VS Code. There are a bajillion of them because this is relatively new to the Maui people and Maui community. These are my last two. The first thing, there are extensions for everything. Everything you could possibly need. I've had a lot of people like, how am I going to edit my info.p list? So that's actually, you don't even need an extension for it. If you go into platforms, oh my God, I can't click anything. Info.p list, it's just XML, which we have styling for. So you can edit in here. It's not very fun. It would be nice to have like checkboxes. So we're thinking about what to do here. You can also always open it in Xcode. But there's also things that if you need to inspect a binary plist file, there's extensions that let you crack it open and see what's in there. So that's really helpful. One of the things that I have I've been starting to evaluate different versions of Android device managers because I don't really want to use the command line to create my Android virtual devices. I also don't want to install Android Studio. And I also most importantly, don't have Visual Studio on my Mac right now. I'm not on my Mac, but I have been evaluating these kind of all over the place. What is it called? So there was one that I did like. This one by Torox. So far has been pretty good. It's just an Android device manager, and all it does is it uses the top tab of VS Code to help you like create them pretty simply. And then you can open the config files and mouse over them and delete them. It's pretty smooth. I've liked that one so far. There are a couple other I've tried that have worked really well. This one makes me really angry because of the flashing GIF. So I will not use that one, kind of on principle. But yeah, just start checking out these VS Code extensions for things that you think you need. Oh, also the best VS Code extension is VS Code Pets, where you can open a tab down here and you can create little pets like the .NET bot mod or Clippy. And then a color. Oh, I can set a color for Clippy. See? And then when you hover over him, he shows you emojis, and then you can drop a little ball and they all go and chase the ball. This is the best VS Code extension. What can I say? It's called VS Code Pets. So yeah, just a heads up. Very important. And then last thing. What do I want to show for the last thing? Uh-oh. I'm gonna. There's a couple things. I'm going to show two. I'm going to show two small things. One is that you can opt into pre-release versions of things very easily if they have them by literally clicking on the extension and hitting switch to pre-release. So the Maui one is in preview right now. We release pre-release like every week. DevKit currently doesn't have their pre-release rolling, but they're going to bring it back, I believe. So there will be like a switch to pre-release button. And that's how you basically get into like the preview of Visual Studio Code extensions. So that's good. What? Oh no.
Ader says, skip the jokes. Time is money.
Oh yeah. Okay. No, it's not. Don't lie to me. And then the other thing is when you go to build and debug with the Maui extension, open a file. Or yes, I need to open a C# file to do that. Correct. Nice. Where are my little things? Hello, Maui extension. You want to click .NET Maui. Open. Oh, I don't have a solution open. Yeah, that makes sense. Hold on. Solution file. Open with. No, that's not how you do it. How do you open this?
Command palette, all the things.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it open solution? Yeah.
Just type solution and it'll come up.
Sick. Point of sale. There we go. There's my solution explorer. Let me move my pets a little bit. Open the app. So yeah, command palette, Control-Shift-P. For those of you who are new to VS Code. And the solution explorer is how you know that C# DevKit is working. And then when you click on like a C# file, it will do all these things. And then it should just pop up here. Where is it? Maybe this is broken too. Please open a .NET. Oh, it's verifying. It's going to do all this stuff down here. But basically, you can control palette like anything for the Maui extension by just typing Maui. And it will let you do all this. It'll open the docs for you. And then
Buffering, Maddy.
And
oh, no.
You could do like the DevKit extension. Broken?
Yeah, you're buffering.
Back? What just happened?
Yeah,
oh my god. That's annoying. All right. Well, I'm going to stop before I tempt fates anymore. I was just going to show you when you run it, little things you could do, but they're not that important. Oh, my curly braces finally showed up though. So that's how you change everything in C# DevKit. Nobody ever knows how to find that. They just try and run it. We might have to move it, but just FYI. So that's like top 4 to 7, depending on how you want to count them, depending on how generous you want to be with me. So
okay.
Yeah, VS Code Pets is probably taking all my bandwidth. You're right.
I used to have this way back in the day, this sheep that could run across my screen. I could throw them around and they would like poop in the corner and stuff.
That's hilarious. That's
You can still
terrible.
find that exe out there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, show my screen so I can give my top 5 real quick.
There we go. Top 5. You have 12 whole minutes, so good luck.
All right. So when I look at people's code, I find that this is not used nearly often enough. I see label, 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 label. There's a billion labels on the screen. And that can almost always, in most cases, be replaced with a single label if you just knew how to use formatted text. So check this out, y'all. You can have spans. You can even put gestures in them. When the bug gets fixed, it'll work everywhere. But the formatting and everything, just learn to use this. It's very efficient, reduces the number of UI elements on your screen. Highly recommend mastering formatted text, especially if you don't want to use HTML, as apparently Morton does not. So here's your XAML alternative. All right, next up. Did you know that you don't need a XAML.cs with your XAML? You can actually compile it just like this. You will get compiled XAML. We are showing this in our templates with our colors and our styles.xaml. And so you can get away without that. You don't need the backing class in especially cases like this where it's just a resource dictionary. Yay, cool. This is actually something that I filed an issue on because I had some problem with it. I can't remember what it was. And Shane Newell, Mr. Pureween, was like, I didn't even know that existed. And I'm like, sweet, I taught Shane something. Pretty sure we all learned it from Stefan. All right, next. Customizing UI appearance on platform on Idiom. I don't see on platform on Idiom used near as much as I expect it to be. But the thing about it that I want to highlight, and we actually show this, is this right here. The first value you set is the default. You don't have to go iOS, Android, default equals, which you could if you really, really wanted to type more. But you can just put the fallback, the default, whatever, at the very front, and then specify whatever explicit overrides you need per platform. So that works for on platform, works for on Idiom, works for a bunch of these XAML markup extensions. All right. Next, native embedding. For those use cases where you want to run as close to the metal as possible, and you're going to write probably the majority of your UI in native, meaning not shared UI, XAML, or C#, you're going to get the fastest startup times. You're going to get the the fastest performance.
Fattest app size, all of the megabytes.
It's fat. Yeah, all the megabytes. Fat pH. Then you can use native embedding to bring in the MAUI UI shared stuff where you want to use it. So this is used actually more than I probably expected it to be used, but a lot of folks don't even know you can do this. In MAUI, this has gotten even easier to where you can use extension methods to platform, to fragment, and there's several other extensions that off that shared UI element, whether it's a content page or an individual UI element, and you can get the native representation of that thing. So extremely useful. You probably could think of many other ways to use that are even cooler. All right, these next two go together. And one is profiling for MAUI apps for performance, and the other is memory leaks, Jonathan Pepper. So these are both in our wiki, and they are exhaustive. They are pretty detailed documents. So if you suspect that you're having performance issues, you suspect that you're having memory issues, these are the same methods that we use to determine these things. Yes, it would be nice to always have just one awesome profiling tool that just did everything for us, but sometimes you got to get down into the command line and look at some dumps and traces and things like that. So if these are things that you're dealing with and you want to know more about it, this is like a master class, especially this one here from Peppers. on identifying and fixing memory leaks. And if you have been paying attention to the .NET 8 previews, you have seen a lot of memory leak fixes from Mr. Jonathan Peppers in those releases. And finally, did you know Android Java source, that you can take a Java file and you can put it into your .NET Android head project or the platform folder of your MAUI project for Android, and you can set the type to Android Java source. The build task will automatically generate a .NET binding for it, and you can code against that API. You don't have to actually create your own Android library and do all the binding yourself. You can just put the Java file in there and use it. Did you know that, Maddy? You had no idea.
That's pretty cool.
I know you love Java. So
yeah.
yeah, so that is really cool. It's something that I think a lot of folks don't know about. Now, I completely recognize that the crowd here watching us and engaging with us in the community stand-ups is probably the cream of the crop. And you're probably all going, oh, we knew all this stuff. We know how to do all these things. But maybe if you only got one thing you didn't know existed out of this whole, stand up today, then our job is success.
Wow. Are you frozen or are you just sitting really? Wow.
Mic drop.
That was so ominous.
So you'll appreciate this is an anecdote of no relevance to what we're doing. But in the wedding, I had to say, because the officiant of the wedding is my daughter-in-law's father. So he was walking her down the aisle, of course. And so he could not be standing up there to say the line, who gives this woman to be married to this man? And so that was my line. So I had to stand up there and do that with no voice. But here's what's funny, because you and I do this stuff all the time and you sing. And so how to use a microphone, right? The instructions from the DJ to me on how to use a microphone, and it was the easiest microphone I'd probably ever seen, had one button and a green light. Like, that was it. But I was just trying to be like, yeah, oh, wow, thanks for telling me how to use a microphone, dude. That's awesome. So anyway, I delivered my line. The wedding was a success. They are now on the beach in Punta Cana. If anybody wants to go find a couple of scrawny kids hanging out, look like they're newlyweds, tell them hi from me.
God, I would like to be on the beach in Punta Cana right now.
It was rainy yesterday, apparently, but looks great. They sent us a video of some monkey jumping off their shoulder. I'm like, how much money did you get taken for that?
Always the optimist. Oh my goodness. Well, all right. When's the next time we're going to see you people? Looks like it's going to be the 2nd of November. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And then that'll be, I don't know what we'll do then. Maybe we'll have a guest, but it'll be right before .NET Conf and all big things. So maybe it'll just be crazy. But yeah, let us know, what you think, what you want to see. Send your blogs along, your PRs, your YouTube videos. We love watching them and love sharing them. And hope you enjoyed it. A casual October spooky season community stand-up. So see y'all in a month.
Bye.
baby.